Look at all these flowers, and I'm not even open to sell them. Well, what's going on here? So today is October 14th, and my average first frost date is October 17th. And I'm looking at the long-term weather. We're not going to get even below 40 anytime in the next 2 weeks. And that is really promising because I have a market next Saturday. I am holding out hope that I will have fresh flowers for that market, which will be a really big boost to my income. It'll be super awesome. But that means that I still need to be on top of everything. Lots of deadheading, and it's really important that you are staying consistent with deadheading so that you can keep those blooms coming, because they will uncut and come again flowers. So yesterday I did a big chop. Let me show you. It's very important to deadhead your flowers, even if you're not cutting on them, to keep the blooms coming. And so look at how blown out these are. We've got seed pods kind of here, and then we've got some heads that are, would really be at a good cutting point. And then we also have new buds. But we just wanted to get a new flush for next week. So I'm gonna whack it. I'm gonna go for about half. I'm trying not to cut my netting. My stick steak. The stick steaks are good until they're not. But I can't argue with the price. Ah yes, like a nice fresh haircut. What's better than that? Don't judge my sweatpants, okay? Seriously. And right now I don't even want to tell you about my socks. They are hamburger socks my mom got me. Okay, fine, I'll show you. Hamburger socks, yes. So we're still trying to keep the garden going, but we're getting very close to a bulb planting time. So I am going to rip out some flowers today, plant some flowers, and plant some ranunculus. All right, things that gotta go. Dara. Super dead Dara. I think I might get rid of this calendula too. I got so many petals and I don't really need this seed because I have so many packets. Check this out. My pumpkin. Blackberry in the way. Come on. Looking good in there, huh? All right, other than pumpkins though, I'm gonna get rid of these mums. I always call them mums, they're asters. And I think I'm gonna clean up this row of sunflowers. These are not really producing any seeds or anything, so get that cleaned up. So here's the raised veggie garden, and I realize I haven't shown you guys too much of this year. It hasn't really produced any flowers, but it has produced some vegetables for me. So my tomato plant here still got lots of fruit on it, and they are still slowly trying to turn red. This is where I've had the basil. And I had some, casting in shadows, sorry, cucumbers and my zucchini plant that has been producing like crazy. So we're gonna pull out the tomatoes here because those are done. Borderline thinking about pulling out those zinnias, and I just can't get myself to pull out those sunflowers, they're too cute. This bed is gonna be totally open, and that's where we will plant our ranunculus secessions. Bye-bye tomatoes. These were Siberian something. Supposed to be a cold weather variety. It didn't really produce very much for me. Oh yeah, this is the part too. This corner gets a little neglected, and so the grass gets kind of tall, which means that the slugs hang out and eat all of my tomatoes. So the few that I did get, ravaged by tomato slugs. Some kind of wormy boy, caterpillar wormy boy. All right, to the chickens. Oh, yummy. Alright, all cleaned up. Still on the fence about whether I want to get rid of these zinnias. I think I might. Look at that. That is a queen lime if I've ever seen one. Sorry. Need to plant ranunculus. I'll save and dry so they won't go to waste. It's a nice harvest, huh? These will get hung up to dry. And compost. The other thing that I'm working on is getting the wildflower patch a little bit more robust. There's a lot of perennial seeds and cool flowers in here, so I'm watering those in to get that nice fall germination. And here's what the rows look like now that all of the cover crop has been terminated. I still had some regrowth, so I've been just going through and pulling those plants out by hand to make sure that I don't get a bunch of seeds germinating. Here's an example of that. See how it's kind of mulched with grass. My husband's been blowing the grass clippings onto here, and I think we'll probably do that all year. It's working out pretty nicely. But see how this one was weed whacked and it's throwing some side shoots. So I gotta make sure I pull these out so that they don't keep growing and trying to make seeds. What is going on over here? What are you doing? What are you doing? Bye. Let's chat about anemones and ranunculus. So I ordered my anemones from ADR Bold, so I had to buy 150 of these forms, so there's quite a few, and I just got mixed ones. I had ordered a bunch of ranunculus and anemones from Longfield Gardens, but they kept running out of things like that panda anemone that I really wanted, and some of the salmon ranunculus that I really wanted were really small, and you know, the size of your corms really matters. So you're not going to get as many flowers from smaller corms, and so I canceled that order just because it really was, the most important ones to me were not in stock. So I ended up very lucky, and I'm in that wholesale for the small scale grower group on Facebook, and I hit that order just in time. So I ordered a bunch of corms from him, and that is a really great choice because you know, we need to get fancy with the ranunculus if we're going to grow them, because we don't want those little wimpy puny ones. We want the big beautiful ones, right? Although those corms are a lot more expensive, those flowers can go for a lot higher of a price. And if you grow enough of them, you know, maybe you can sell to florists or something like that. Oh, don't mind this. This is my asparagus I never got around to planting. Hopefully it's still good. So it's saved my mixed anemone corms that I grew last year. We'll see how they look, actually. Yeah, they look good. We'll see. I did also buy some corms at retail, unfortunately, from the Dahlia house. She has very fancy ranunculus. These were kind of an impulse buy because I hadn't hit the wholesale for the small scale sale yet, so I was really nervous I didn't have any fancy ranunculus. So I got the Anemone Rarity. That one is fun. Italian ranunculus sfumato. I don't speak Italian, so please don't judge me. Italian ranunculus striato and Italian ranunculus crema. So I only have, I think, 10 or so of each of these, so not a whole bunch, but each of these fancy corms is going to produce more flowers, so we can expect an average of about 10 stems. So that's quite a few flowers just from this little batch. 20 ranunculus amandine bonbon, 20 ranunculus amandine salmon, 20 amandine, I don't freaking know. Does anybody really know? Amandine violet, and then 20 half clone marshmallow. And then I also ordered some more because I hit the second round because I knew I needed more. And those are still in the mail, so let me check what those were. 30 amandine purple jean, 30 labelle champagne, which is the one that's on the cover of the floret. I think it's a year in flowers, I don't know, one of those. And labelle white picotee, 30 of those, 30 super green white, and 30 amandine chamella. If we're averaging 10 stems per corm, I should be getting 2,700 stems from just these ranunculus, and then you add in the anemones. Let's see, what is that? Quite a bit of stems, so yeah, it doesn't seem like that much because it's really not that many corms, but you'd be surprised what you can get out of there, especially when you buy those fancy ones. Both anemones and ranunculus get 5-inch spacing, and they should be planted about 2 inches deep. And, you know, we want to make sure we get them in as well. Whoops. beds are 6 feet long and 3 feet wide. So I think if I did the math right, I should be able to get 17 across and 7. The other thing is that ranunculus and anemones should be pre-sprouted and soaked, at the very minimum soaked. But it gets really wet here, and we have kind of been in drought-ish situations, but I just know it gets so wet, I'm not going to do that, and I haven't done that, and my anemones grew just fine last year. But that's totally up to you, so, you know, probably follow the rules unless you know you don't need to. Alright, apparently the pointed end should go down, but it's not the end of the world. To extend your harvest window in spring, you can actually succession sow ranunculus. So I have planted a group here in the middle of October. I'll plant another group in November, and then you can also go even into like January with successions. So this year we're just doing 2. We'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you updated. Alright, we can't forget to label. My favorite way to label stuff is with popsicle sticks. I get these at the dollar store. It's $1.25 for 60, and I love them because they hold up just fine for the period that I'm growing a crop, and then they get composted when I don't need them anymore. So this is my favorite way. It's cost effective, it's eco-friendly, and it works for me. So, and then you use a whole one, and it's decently tall, so you put it in the right spot. Because I didn't pre-soak these corms, I'm going to water these in really well. Yes, this is not mixed seed trays anymore. Me. You know, my hand can't take it. So, this is what we use our tub for. It's great. And actually, you know, you're not supposed to let lisianthus get covered by soil when you're watering, but I actually have had random sporadic germination on these, and once I started doing this sprayer method, I had the seeds that weren't germinating start to germinate. Kind of interesting. Never going back to a spray bottle again. So I have boxes and boxes of tulips and actually some other types of bulbs. So the soil temperature is still too warm. It should be in the 50s for planting tulips, so it's too hot. So I can't plant these yet, but I will definitely show you those when I do plant them out. Thank you so much for